If you're thinking about purchasing the Fendi Baguette, either this size or a bigger size, this video will help you decide whether or not this bag is worth it for you. I'm going to be sharing with you my 2 years of experience with using this bag and how often I use it, the wear and tear I've seen, as well as a comparison to the different models and styles that they offer for the Baguette class. Fendi is a luxury Italian fashion house that was first founded in 1925 by Adele and Edoardo Fendi. Although it first started as a small fur and leather goods shop, it's since expanded into an international fashion luxury designer house. In particular, they're very well known for some of their iconic bags, such as the Baguette here, but also the Peekaboo as well. The Fendi Baguette was first released in 1997 and was at the height of its popularity when Carrie Bradshaw wore it in Sex and the City. I purchased the FF embossed Fendi Baguette in the smaller size with the chain handle. Based on the resale values, I do find that this retains its value quite well, but it won't increase in investment value quite as much as the vintage Zucca print bag. When you look at the bag prices, there's been about a 4% year-over-year increase for the Baguette Mini reissue versus a 6% year-over-year increase for the regular Baguette. All of that is trumped by the huge increase in vintage Baguette prices to catch up. There's a large gap between the mini and regular Baguette prices of $1,000, so you should seriously consider what is the minimum amount that you need to put within your bags, and do you need to purchase a larger one? I purchased this bag back in 2020 as a summer bag because I was moving down to Florida and I wanted a light colored bag that was both casual and classy and could potentially wear it to an event as well. The bag itself is actually made of Napa leather. It's incredibly soft, has a bit of a wrinkle to the material itself, and is not completely smooth. I find this texture is perfect for me because it would hide any kind of scratches that I would have on the bag. And actually this version has an embossed FF print that's less noticeable because it's all monochromatic. This white color is not a pure bright white, but in fact it's a little bit off-white. The Fendi Baguette also comes with a Fendi dust cover. At the very front, you see the classic FF logo at the front in shiny gold hardware. It has a magnetic clasp that opens the bag, and it's actually quite strong. It takes some effort to actually open it. On the underside of each hardware, it reads Fendi here, as well as Fendi down here. The inside is actually lined with a darker polyamide cotton blend. This means I don't need to be super careful because the interior of the bag is when it's most prone to stains and dirt marks, which are hard to remove on a lighter lining. There are 3 white leather card holders, which are quite flexible and can fit quite a few cards each. On the side of the clasp, you'll notice that there is a Fendi leather piece here, and on the very back side of it, you'll find that there's gold lettering that form your date code or authentication code. This tag right here is an RFID label that you'll see in all your Fendi bags. They changed this back in 2010. Originally, prior to that, they had holograms. The Fendi store is able to use a device to read the RFID chip to authenticate your bag. The Fendi Baguette is actually meant to be a bit more soft and pouch-like because it's named after the fact that the French used to carry their baguettes or their bread under their arms. As you can see, the top part of the bag is layered with 2 pieces of leather here. They also have 2 removable straps. On this sized version, they have a small strap for a handle, as well as a longer strap that you can wear over the shoulder. At the very top, the piece is made from leather, so it's much more comfortable to be holding on the shoulder instead of the chain itself. You'll see that the strap itself is two-toned and has quite a bit of puffiness. It's actually removable with the clasps on each side, which say Fendi on the very top of them. There are also leather pieces on the side here that hold the straps and are two-toned as well. The bag itself is quite light, but with the chain it does get a little bit heavy, but nowhere near as heavy as the Chanel wallet on chain. When I first purchased this bag, I didn't use it that much to begin with because I was a little bit scared of dirtying the color. But once I got over that fact, I actually used it quite a bit more. Now, while this bag doesn't necessarily fit an entire baguette, it fits a surprising amount of items. You can even fit in a pair of sunglasses, and that's because the bag is so flexible. If you're getting getting value out of this video, please let me know by clicking the thumbs up down below, and it also lets the YouTube algorithm share this with more people that are also thinking of purchasing this bag. I've worn the Fendi Baguette quite regularly, at least on a weekly basis, for the last 2 years, and I find that it pairs very well with a summer wardrobe. My main concern when I purchased this bag was because the magnet's so strong, I was worried that every time I pull back that this was going to start peeling away from the leather. However, I found that it's sewn in really quite strong, and there have been no issues with that so far. I also appreciate that the hardware on this bag is not completely shiny gold, like the bag I have here from Cult Gaia, but this is actually slightly matte, so any kind of scratches would not be as obvious on the buckles. I haven't really experienced any browning or yellowing of the white leather. I find this bag especially secure for when you travel. Because this is all secured by metal fastenings, it would be very difficult for anyone to cut through this part. Now, the only wear and tear I can see on this bag is a very, very faint, you can see here, orange line. You can't really see it for the most part, but when you really look very closely at it, you can see it. I haven't actually tried to remove it yet because I did want to show you that white bags are more prone to markings. Let me know if you're interested in a future video on how to clean these types of designer luxury bags. There is actually a particular way I suggest storing the bag. Don't store it on the side like this, because the heaviness of this buckle will press down on here and will push out the bottom of the bag. And I would prefer my bag to keep a bit more structure. So I make sure that I prop up my bag and stuff it with white tissue so that it doesn't deform over time. Fendi also does have customer service for their bags, so if you run into any issues like you're losing a chain link or the leather's ripping and the magnetic clasp is not working, you should bring it into a Fendi store to get that repaired, or it might get shipped off. Fendi has a 2-year warranty policy for non-conformity defects. In order to initiate any repair, you just need to submit a form online with attachment of the picture or defect, or you can bring it in store, and they'll assess whether you need to pay for the repair or it's covered under the warranty. The most similar bag that you can compare to is the Gucci Marmont series of bags. If you look at the price differences between Gucci and Fendi, it's only about $190 for the mini bag, but almost $1,000 for the medium version. The Gucci Marmont is made of cowhide leather, while Fendi is made of Napa lambskin leather, which is typically more expensive. The only type of lambskin bags I could find of a similar style were from Chanel, which is much more expensive brand and even more iconic nature of their Chanel flat bags. And Napa leather bags from Prada, which are actually on par in terms of price with the Fendi bags. Because the Fendi Baguette is such an iconic style, it comes in so many different types of styles and sizes, so I'm going to walk you through the different variations and the pros and cons I see of each. One is the mini that you see that I have here, and then you have the medium, which is the size that you see Carrie Bradshaw carrying in Sex and the City, and then you see an even larger version called the large baguette. I find that the mini Fendi fits more than it looks like because it's such a soft bag, and it may be the perfect option for those of you who are a smaller frame and are looking for a bag that is not too overwhelming. I would suggest the regular medium Fendi Baguette size for you if you have a slightly bigger frame, you're a bit taller, and you want a statement bag. In the regular size version, there is a bigger gap than you see here between the flap and the side of the bag. So potentially, if you have small things in the bag, if you turn it over, it might fall out. Versus in the mini, the gap is really quite small. In the regular version, they have 2 D-rings, one for each of the straps to attach to, so you won't have rubbing like this between the 2 straps, and less friction means less potential for scratches. In particular, the regular baguette has a thicker strap, so the way that it's worn can be seen as more street style and can pair very well with baggy suits and hoodies and more casual wear. Keep in mind that the medium baguette has a shorter strap, and so if you prefer having a longer crossbody or a longer shoulder strap, you may want to consider getting the smaller version. In comparison, the Fendi Baguette Mini actually has a longer strap to it that you can wear both crossbody and over the shoulder. The reason I decided on the mini instead of the medium is because I wanted it to be a versatile bag, and I wanted to be able to wear it to casual occasions as well as formal occasions. The chain straps on this bag, as well as the size of it, really make it look more dainty and is easier to transition to a more elegant style. It comes in a wide variety of materials. The most common is the classic leather one, and then also in canvas. There's also a woven one, as well as a crocodile leather one and other exotic materials. In general, I prefer having a leather bag instead of a canvas bag because I find it more durable and it has a bit more give to it, so you can put a little bit more in there. And I just personally find it easier to wipe than a canvas bag. Personally, would highly suggest the Fendi Baguette in a lighter color. I think you can really see the beautiful gold details. I tend to use this bag a lot when I wear lighter colors, especially summer dresses like the one I'm wearing right now, which is a sleeper dress. To be perfectly honest, I was never into the style of the vintage Fendi Baguette, especially in the Zucca print. In general, I prefer the subtlety of having an embossed FF pattern that is monochromatic with the rest of the bag. But the most iconic look is still the two-toned FF bag. Choosing between those designs is truly dependent on your kind of style. For me, I have a bit more of a minimalistic look, so I prefer having the subtlety of a monochromatic bag. For those of you who love a monogram, the FF pattern is something that you can consider alongside other types of designer bags that have a similar logo, like the LV logo. What I've noticed after researching how to purchase the Fendi Baguette in a new condition, both luxury retailers like Net-a-Porter and department stores such as Saks Fifth Avenue don't really sell Fendi baguettes, but they sell other types of Fendi clothing and accessories. It's really just limited to the online Fendi store, which you can purchase and have a 14-day return policy. That way you would have the biggest selection possible and the most recent ones. I purchased my baguette online and it was actually quite a convenient and easy delivery. Or you can go in-store to the Fendi store and see what kind of selections that they have there. Especially with how high the retail price is. If you're looking for a vintage Fendi, which is quite popular these days, the best way to get it is through resale websites, though you really need to make sure that you're able to authenticate the product. Because the Fendi Baguette is so similar to the Chanel Walk, I've been able to style and configure the straps quite similarly. Did you also know that your Fendi Baguette can also be doubled as a belt bag? Learn how to configure your straps this way and wear it in 18 more different ways in the linked video above. You can take a look at my Instagram page for more inspiration on how to style the Fendi Baguette. I recommend this bag if you've already built out a core collection of luxury pieces that you know you're going to love and use all the time, and you're looking for kind of the icing on top of the cake, if you would say. And that's essentially what I did when I purchased this. I get so much use out of it, but at the same time, if something were to happen to it, if it was to get dirty, or if it was to go out of style over time, I wouldn't be too worried about it. I would still recommend a Chanel bag or a Givenchy Antigona for your core collection, both of which I've reviewed, and I can add links to my luxury review playlist if you're interested in seeing how those would fit in your collection. Overall, I don't regret my purchase at all. I'm actually incredibly happy that this was the first white bag that I've ever purchased in the Fendi Baguette. It's also an excellent everyday bag, which means you'll get a lot of cost per wear out of it. It's actually even easier to tell the quality of the bag because I purchased a white version, which is much more prone to damage. Even though I've been using this bag consistently on a weekly basis, it barely shows any signs of use. And metal itself has no scratches, and the leather is still a beautiful pristine white, even though I haven't sprayed anything. And while I don't baby my bags, there are a number of habits that I unconsciously use to make sure my bags stand the test of time and last within my collection. And you can learn how you can do the same in this next video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you soon.